Nigella Lawson, welcome, joining us from London. Great to see you again.
It's so lovely to be back, even if I'm here and you're there. But it's still nice.
So nice to see you. Most people have been taking it slow this year in 2020, but you've got a new show, a new book. What are we going to learn in this new book, Nigella?
Well, I think apart from the recipes, which are really about talking about the food that I return to again and again, and my favourite ingredients. I also talk a bit about what I think cooking can do and what I think the importance food plays in our life. And I think this was something I'd wanted to write before lockdown and before everything. But and Cook, Eat, Repeat was something that I just felt was my life. And then it so happened this year that everyone felt it was their life as well.
Yeah.
So it's really about, I suppose, the joy of food. I've got one chapter on anchovies, which is a divisive ingredient. I've got one chapter called A Loving Defense of Brown Food. Because, in the Instagram age, everyone wants things to look so bright and beautiful, yet actually there's something really comforting and the taste of brown food to me I love it. I've got a chapter on rhubarb. I've got a chapter on the importance of the evening meal and how it can make a difference to the emotional tenor of a day.
You are possibly the only person in history to stand up for the anchovy, and that's admirable. You live in London, of course, where the lockdown has been pretty tough. People have
Yes.
definitely found comfort in food this year, baking sourdough. I'm 56 years old. I felt the need to bake sourdough for the first time in my life. I've never even looked at sourdough, but I tried to bake it. How has lockdown been for you?
Well, I was quite lucky in the sense that I had the focus of a book to write, and that gave me a lot of structure. But then I think cooking does that for people anyway, which is why I think people did find comfort in cooking. I suppose, when you realize how little control you have over the things, over everything out there, the small amount of order that you're placing over ingredients when you cook gave people a sense of somehow containment. So really, I've just had my normal life, but somehow to the power of 10, and cooking, eating, thinking about that. And I felt very lucky because so many people I know haven't been able to work.
During the first lockdown, is it true you literally didn't leave the house? And if you
It is.
didn't, how I imagine your pantry is quite bountiful.
Yeah, yes, I have that, and I know various, and I got food delivered. I don't have a car anyway, so it wasn't like I could just, go out. And I've got a little garden, so I got fresh air, and I did exercise every morning. I never thought I'd beat someone who exercised every morning. I'm at an age when you don't want to be getting this, and I'm my children's only parent, So I really took everything incredibly seriously. I didn't want to have any unnecessary risk.
Yeah, okay. So your new show has been making quite the headlines recently. From using bananas peels in curry to the way you butter your toast. Now, I did look at this online. Nigella Lawson takes a bit of toast, puts some butter on it, and it's like, wow, that's a bit of toast with butter on it. You make stuff look amazing. Everyone's got an opinion.
I think people like getting worked up about things,
Right.
and I don't know that they did really. Most people just thought the toast looked nice.
Yeah.
And of course, I wasn't actually doing a program about how to eat toast. It was in the context, it was in an introduction for a sandwich loaf, a really simple loaf that makes fantastic toast. So it was, in that way, it wasn't actually meant to be, a lesson on toast eating. I was just demonstrating the way I think makes toast the most delicious.
And some sea salt, yes.
Yes, sea salt flakes, very, very important.
I'd take it as a compliment if I was you, because they're still talking about you, and you have this ability to be able to sort of ignite conversations about food.
People always have very strong feelings about food, and that's why it's such an interesting subject. It is an emotional subject as well. I think, to be honest, most people just thought the toast looked good.
Yeah.
But then it was suddenly, huge outrage. Well, I didn't really notice the huge outrage. I suppose what I try and talk about as well is that you have to learn to get pleasure intense pleasure, I think, from relatively small things. So if when you have your piece of toast, you just make it just how you like it. And I was saying that's how I like it. I'm not going to go around people's houses, making sure they're eating it that way. But you make your toast the way you want to, and you really enjoy every bite. And I think that's so important, you see, because I think that in a way, you can't wait for these big magical things to come and light up your life. And there are those in a life. But if you can take pleasure in small things, they're simple pleasures, but they do make a difference to life. And that to me is very, very important.
Nigella, only with you could we enjoy a 2-minute conversation about toast. There's nobody else in the world I want to sit down and talk.
I might have to make some now.
Now, because also we can be passionate about food, but then you make it a little, a little naughty as well. Pleasure Palace, is that what we're called? The intimate
Yes.
Pleasure Palace? And right.
It's a pleasure palace because you can just lose yourself in the realm of the senses. It's about texture, feel, smell, taste, sound. And I think this for me is, I often think the nearest I'm going to get to meditation.
And the soft fairy lights also help. I'm missing those.
Yes.
I'm missing those this morning in your kitchen, Nigella.
I know. Well, I've turned them off because they make funny shadows everywhere.
They're beautiful. They're beautiful. Cook, eat, repeat, which speaks to how much joy you get out of food. But for people who maybe don't like cooking and families who have to, what's for dinner tonight, what's for dinner tonight, what's for dinner tonight, this cook, eat, repeat is kind of what sometimes gets us down.
No. It can be drudgery. I understand that. But I feel that when I've tried to, talk about that in the book, and also to say that sometimes you just add a little thing here and add a little bit there. I think actually the more people cook, the more they realize it doesn't have to be, so all encompassing, because sometimes, it's just a question of putting one thing with another.
Yeah.
And just enjoying it.
Yeah. And being in the moment. You say this when you're cooking, you can't worry about anything else because you have to concentrate on what's in front of you. And I like that.
Yes. Oh, thank you.
And we're renaming our kitchen the Pleasure Palace as of today. Lovely to talk to you, Nigella.
Thank you so much,
Nice to
Nigella.
talk to you too. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.